Other questions? Yes.
How do tape auditions work for you? Like,
Well, it's a problem, but it's the reality. The problem is I don't think anything beats being in the room. And I'm in the room, so I see everything. And the director and producer, if they're not, and they're just watching tape, they're just seeing the end result as if it's a final product. And I have a tendency to not be happy with that, but that's just all we have, because directors and producers on at least 4 out of 5 shows, they don't even ever come to the room. They see it on tape, they pick someone, and it goes to network for approval, and that's it. So it's what we live with, which is taping. It's a little bit better in some ways, because lots of directors, most directors that you'll meet, don't know what it is that you do or how you do it. They direct, you act. How you get to do what you do, they have no clue. So when they want things from you, they'll speak in results. They'll say, I think this scene is more angry, or I think this scene is faster, or let's pick up the cues. Well, those aren't acting directions, those are results. So you have to look at what could cause that to happen, because that's the only thing that you're in control of, it is causing it. You can't repeat effects, because repeating effects is dead. You can't act faster. You can't act picking up the cues. That you can only do things that cause the scene to happen in a different way. So the point of it is that they really most often don't know what it is that you do, and all they're looking for is, can you act and can you take direction? And they're often very laid back about not wanting to give direction in the room. So often if some actor comes in and they don't know them, and I've seen this actor before, and they end up blowing the audition badly, lots of directors won't give them a second chance because they don't know them well enough to know that they could do better. I'll step in at that point and do something with it. Whereas if that person walks into my room and we're taping, I'll go, that sucked, what's your problem? Let's do it again, let's fix it. So I have a tendency to be able to spend the time fixing things more in the room. And honestly, I have to say that some actors, or lots of actors, are very lazy, that they don't spend the time that they should. They think learning the lines is what's important of it, and then they're just going to let it happen in the room. And that's boring, and there's lots of times when there's not any amount of work that I could possibly do with a scene that's going to make it better. But that's the reality. The reality is, we put it on tape, we load it up onto a website, they look at it, literally I email them a link and they click on it and they see all the auditions. That's how it works now. In fact, we had a director in Saskatchewan ask us to send us a DVD, and we had to hunt for a DVD player because we don't use them anymore. It's like, we said, you're sure? Oh yeah, I want to go back and forth. You can go back and forth on the website. Nobody uses a DVD. That means we have to FedEx something. Ooh. That's so old school.
And how do you feel about self-tapes, which I think was part of this question?
Well, I don't mind it, and I don't think any casting director, even though they might kind of bitch or crab about it, they're going to really mind it. The bottom line of it is that if you spent the time and you've really worked on a scene and you've sent it to us for us to look at, remember that we will respond and tell you what we really think, good and bad. If it's good work, then it's great for us to know. But if you're not ready, and your agent is sending it to us sight unseen, or hasn't looked at it, or hasn't cautioned you that maybe you shouldn't send it to us, then you do risk the fact that we'll look at it and go, this is not very good. Now, it is important that if you have an agent, that you have a good relationship with your agent so that you get proper feedback. That your agent is not going to tell you, when I say, well, it was crappy and their eyes were out of focus, like all over the place, and it was all surface choices, and you weren't right for the part. So they've decided not to tell you anything bad because they don't want to ruin their relationship with you. But that's not going to make you grow. I think you need to know that it was bad so you can fix it.
So it's good to, when you like talk with your agent, which you probably should about once a year, to ask them if they've gotten any feedback.
Oh, I think you need to talk to your agent way more than once a year.
Okay.
Like at least every week or two. That's the problem. See, I mean, often, especially at your age range, I'll put out a job for something and I'm looking for an actor who's 13 to 15. I don't want them to be, you know, an adult. And then your agent will send me your picture. And the picture happens to be 3 years old, so it's a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old picture. And so I'll go, okay, well, I'll see that person, and then you walk in the door and I'll go, and it's because the agent hasn't taken the time to actually, and you haven't connected with your agent. So your agent has no idea what you look like anymore, and that you're 6'4". So you can't possibly play a 13, 14-year-old kid. Sorry. So it is important that you keep an ongoing relationship with your agent. If you really want a career, and if your agent isn't prepared to do that, look for another agent. But there's lots of times that, you know, if you think of the numbers, if I'm looking at only seeing 10 or 12 people out of 60 or 70 people, then there's a lot of people on that list who think that they're probably right for something, that really want to go at a scene, and they're not going to get in the room. So if you take the time, go into a studio, put yourself on tape with that scene, and it's really wonderful, I'll go, oh, wow, okay, that's cool. And depending on the timing, I might see you for the part, because it has to be quick. Or next time I'll remember. I mean, I think you have to take your career in your hands. Just because you get an agent doesn't mean that you have to let go of that. They're just merely a conduit. They're like the mailman, and they're erratic at best. And they go on strike all the time, only they call it holidays.